Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I'm Dr. C. Victor Urban III, and I'm taking it to the house.
And I'm Dr. Timothy Hoover, and I'm taking it to the house. I don't know if our audience know what I'm a doctor in, so let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Timothy Hoover, licensed in the state of Texas as a physical therapist. I am fascinated by the body. There's not many things about the body I don't know, but yet there are still many mysteries. I'm clueless about some of the mysteries. Why do I even bring that up? Injuries and sports, they go hand in hand. LeBron just comes off a couple weeks from a strained groin. Anthony Davis, groin. Uh, it's fascinating how they're able to recover. These are highly paid athletes, and their training teams will give them rehabilitation 24/7 so they're able to come back. Why is that important? Because they're getting paid handsomely and their teams need them. These are professionals. Last night, your alma mater, USC, the women's team, in the middle of battling for an NCAA championship. Okay, Juju, the flag bearer, if you will, for the NCAA women's, in my humble opinion, for her skill level and what she can do on the court, and the possibility of leading USC to a championship. Last night, she tears her ACL. We were talking in the green room. Probably never had another significant injury like this before in her life. So a first time injury like this is going to scare her. And she's going to get well because it's an 8 month process. I don't care from the time of the end of the surgery to 8 months, she'll be back on the court. But she's scared. She gets through it. She's going to get through it. But the ramifications, the weight of the injury, the timing of the injury. Right now, I just said in the middle of the NCAA, you as an alumni, excuse me, you USC guy, you as that fan base, you are the voice of USC. How does it hit you? Talk to me. I already know how I feel. I want to know, how does it hit you?
Hit me literally like a ton of bricks. You just talked about how Juju is not a flag bearer. We watched the last few years, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. I mean, that draft class last year, but we know it was Caitlin Clark's league. She literally took the flag and passed it to Juju Watkins. And Juju was running with that flag. She was representing the USC and NCAA women's basketball with great pride. She was on ESPN. She had featured stories, not only what she's doing on the court, but what she was doing in the community of Los Angeles. They shared why she decided to stay in Los Angeles, where she could have gone to UConn. She could have gone to Stanford. But what the city of Los Angeles meant to her and her family, and how she's still standing on the shoulder of giants. So when you watch how successful they were last year and almost getting to the championship, everyone knew after Caitlin and Angel Reese departed, this was Juju's league. This was her year. She was going to finally take the women of Troy to the promised land. No one since Cheryl Miller in the early 80s has
Mm-hmm.
done this. And so, again, she carried the crown with pride and humility. And to watch a routine drive to the basket, routine drive. She takes from center court. She's driving on the right side. And next thing you know, like you said, how did it hit me? It hit me like it hit her. Next thing you know, like she just got shot. And no pun intended, but it is USC. We all know the famous movie from Boys in the Hood. Ricky! That's what it looked like. And she just went down. And then you saw her hands on her face. It was horrible, man. And because she was in position to become a leading scorer for women's basketball at this as a sophomore. Just a couple more points left within the next couple of weeks, she would have gotten it. So it's unfortunate because not only that she loses this season, look at the 8 months process, or that means what, December. My question for you, Doc, is what will recover faster, the injury or the mental side when she starts getting back on that court?
Oh, great question. So athletes, man, they will want to be back to get back to their team quicker, soon, very fast. So she's one of athletes are our greatest patients because they're going to be very compliant with their home exercise program and any exercises that you put on them. So she's going to heal very fast. It's an 8 week, 8 month process. But psychologically, it's going to take time to get used to her body again. Okay, so she's not going to be able to be herself. Just get the basketball and just go dribble, go shoot, just go down and play on the playground. She just can't do that for a while now. So that's going to eat her alive. And then on top of all that, to see her team, part of her, and you've heard of survivor's remorse. You were in the army, you know what that's like. If they fail, how would she feel? If they win, how would she feel? Is she a part of the team? How do the team include her? But that was not the question. The question is what's going to heal quicker? The body's going to heal quicker. Psychologically, it's going to take time. But she will get over this because we know Paige Beckers out of UConn. She also had an ACL tear. But look at Paige Beckers now, getting ready to take her team on to the promised land, a prominent UConn team. So there are models out there for her that she can look at from whether it's the men or the women, and there's going to be a lot of people in her corner, in her ear, helping her along. But psychologically, it's you as a person being able to trust your body again, make that cut, make that jump, to just be instinctive instead of thinking. That's the hard part. So something she's probably been doing since 2, 3 years old, just dribbling a basketball, just doing whatever because that's what felt like that's what she could do. No, she is going to think about that knee until she can't, until she doesn't. So that trust factor, it's going to depend on her how fast she can get over that hurdle, but it's going to be a hurdle nonetheless. Great question though.
But you also stated about the wonders of modern medicine. Now, wasn't an ACL in the past a career ending as opposed to season ending? And if so, what's changed so much where someone can come back in 8 months as opposed to their career being over?
Yeah, state of the art, man. So it's we talked about with the pros, but also in the collegiate level, what they're able to do, what they're able to provide. The surgery itself, she's having the surgery today, and they have it down to where it's almost routine. But for anybody that has the surgery itself, it's not routine because this is major. You get cut on, you get put under, and then there are strict protocol that she's going to have to follow. So what's amazing now is how they're able to, they used to take a cadaver, but it just depends on the severity of her ACL tear. Will they have to use a cadaver or artificial tendon to support the tendon that's in there and surgically repair it, put it together, and then stabilize the whole joint? And so there's no range of motion, there's no weight bearing for a hot minute until they're certain that it's healing properly before she's even able to walk on it, weight bear on it. So um, it's magnificent. I've seen one. I haven't had one myself, but to know Willis McGahee, he had an ACL tear. Remember hearing about that? And then the next year, it was the other knee. But he went on to have, if you ask me, a very nice, respectable NFL career. Um, uh, so it is for the sports doctors that are out there, the orthopedics, for our athletes. It's just a matter of just getting in there and following the protocol for rehabilitation, for a successful rehabilitation. Now, you always got to be concerned about now infections, of course, and or any setbacks, and that possibly could happen. But all things being even, 8 months should be back stronger than ever. Just getting over that mental hurdle just as much as the physical hurdle.
So is this one of those injuries where it's really it's not preventable. Like, no, she could have just been walking out of her dorm and just pull, like, I mean, you hear about it so often, but is it something that was going to happen inevitably? Like, or she did, maybe did she cut wrong? Like, is there anything you could do? Like, how does an athlete, I mean, that seeing that at her, what, 19, 20 years old, and we
Yeah.
know, I'm like, anytime LeBron goes to the ground, anytime Luca goes to the ground, I'm just on edge. So what type of injury and how is this thing really created?
So the question that I'm getting from is it preventable? Are there signs that you can say, oh, let me ease up, slow down, so you can prevent it? Um, these are athletes. These guys are athletes. These gals are athletes. And what we want our warriors, athletes to be like, we want them to be like warriors and gladiators. And they are to ignore sometimes those signals, those signs, those pains, those twinges. You and I, we turn an ankle and you and I are out for a while. They turn an ankle, they walk to the bench, maybe they walk to the locker room, they come back out and they're ready to play. Uh, Juju, the game before, turned her ankle. She sat out the rest of the game, but she came out this game. Was that a sign? Was that an indicator? Because you start compensating when you have these other tweaks, and they are so good. Their body, they're so conditioned. They're mentally so strong that they can actually use accessory muscles that they shouldn't be using to still do the same function or job or task, whether that's jumping, shooting, lateral movement, or forward and backward movement in basketball in particular. So these guys, we want them to be the warrior. We want them to be the gladiator, right? But listening to the body is something that they are conditioned to do as well. We want them to tell us as trainers, as the medical team, what's going on, what's happening, what's going on. LeBron James spends what, several $1 million on his body. He knows what's wrong. He will tell you, and he will be able to. He's a great facilitator for us, so that we can get him that preventive care. All of these athletes, most of these athletes, are so good in taking care of the body, and those that have last longer, the Steph Currys, the LeBron James, the Robert Parishes, the Lou Alcindors, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's, those who have lasted longer are those who have taken care of the body the best. And let's not forget, uh, call it blessings or luck, one or the two, whichever uh, camp you belong to. That's a part of it as well, because you can have somebody else who's very young, and Brandon Roy, for instance, couldn't get his career off the ground because of his knee injuries. But you have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar can last to 40 years old. You got LeBron James last to 40 years old. So luck or blessings are heavily involved in who gets injured, when you get injured, how you get injured. Are some of these things preventable, to your original question? Yes, they are. And then there are some, like Dan Marino, when he's dropping back, routine play that he's been doing all the time, he pops his Achilles. Dominique Wilkins goes up for another layup that he always has been doing for 30, 40 years. Boom, pops his Achilles. I myself have Achilles repair. Just doing the same thing that I've always been doing, just running back. Thought somebody kicked me, popped my Achilles. There was no warning. There was no warning. It just went, it just gave. And I was in my peak power. So, yes, sir, there are warnings sometimes, and then we overcome and compensate and make things worse. But most of us as athletes, and when I was that guy, let's just go. Let's just keep going. Don't rub dirt on it, as they say, and keep going.
Wow, speedy recovery for her. It was hard to see. We're looking at 8 months. That means she should be able to start next year and still finish up her junior year, and maybe go to the league from there her senior year. But as the USC alum, anytime we have a chance for a championship, let's take it. So this hurts. This hurts this year, and I'll still be rooting the ladies of Troy on and seeing how they finish up the tournament. But that one really hurts, bro.
I think they still got a chance. I mean, a really good chance. Now, she was the leader of the pack. She was that female lead dog. Okay, she was that person for USC. But what is so beautiful about USC is they got a well balanced team. They got a good team. So yes, Juju is hurt. Yes, it was a heavy load, a heavy impact, and it hit us hard. However, watch them. How often we see when your leader goes down, how people step up. I expect their team to step up. And we're going to see some other shining moments, shining stars out of the rest of the USC roster.
Hey, fight on, fight on. Well, keep it in LA, brother. Keep it in LA. What are you thinking? All right, we're on this 3-4 game losing streak. LeBron came back. Um, are you panic mode? Do you think this is more like preseason mode, just trying to get just loosen up the joints a little bit? How
Hmm.
concerned are you? Even with that 10-game absence, we're only still in the fourth seed, but then fall down to the play-in. We're only 2 games out of second seed. Where's your concern level with this?
I'm more concerned about JJ. Let's not forget when LeBron was out, Rui was out, and then a lot of other players were out and missing games, and so that put a lot of onus on Reeves and on Luca. And so now we have the whole team intact. Everybody's back. However, the rotations have changed because Rui's not starting right now, which changes the expectations from the bench or the bench dynamics and the rotations. So with Rui back, I need Rui starting again. And the other problem I see, not just rotations and personnel, JJ, but I also need the ball to pop a little bit more. So the reason we did so well when Luca first came over, bro, the ball was moving, but our defense stood up. And what our defense was doing, it was generating fast breaks. We were that receiver quarterback thing we talked about before, it was happening. It's not happening now. I think LeBron is tentative because he hasn't come back with that same verve that he had before the injury. Rui was hurt, like I said, and Vanderbilt is playing stupid, playing crazy right now, and he's playing, uh, let's say, out of his role because there's more expectations put on him. He's not ready to be an offensive threat. He's turning the ball over. Luca's turning the ball over. So, uh, level of concern. Only concerned because of the rotations, JJ, and us getting back to where we were prior to the injuries. And once everybody gets more comfortable again, which like you said, preseason kind of atmosphere, you got to get comfortable all over again. That includes the rotations. That includes JJ trusting those players. We'll be okay. We will be okay. 10 games left. Got to get it right, and it's time to get it right now. The defense. If the defense fail us, we're going nowhere. We
Yeah.
we can't we can't outscore some of these teams. Just can't.
Yeah, these last 2 games, I'm looking at them like tune-ups, but I thought they'd be a tune-up where we do some damage. The Magic, the Bulls, come on, man. Uh, so those are some of those gimmies, right? Because we still got it's such a smashed Western Conference. That top four, those top 6 seeds is
Yeah,
so
yeah.
smashed that we need to at least have some level of distance. I'm not really scared of Houston. I'm not really. I think we can give the Denver Nuggets a run for their money. But when we start looking at what seed do we want to be, I don't want to do a 4-5 matchup. I
Let me
like
say
to do a
this.
2-7 matchup. I like to do a 3-6 matchup. I don't know,
Let
bro.
me let me say this. Let me say this. Uh, a lot of people have not given respect to the Chicago Bulls or the Orlando Magic, and a lot of people said the Eastern Conference is weak. I've seen enough basketball. The Orlando Magic have been hurt. They got people, and their rotations has been. Suggs is not playing; he's out for the year. Mo Wagner, what significant player, he's out for the year also. But they can play. They made a whole lot of noise last year, so I don't know why anybody can disrespect them. The Bulls, the Bulls couldn't miss. They could not miss. They practiced this year going into the season with a 14-second shot clock. You know what that means? That's like D'Antoni and the Phoenix Suns. 7 seconds or less. It's go. And who are we? We're still old. So if we are coming back off injury, they are the last team you want to face. Somebody who's coming out right out the box. and the motor's running.
Seething teeth, bunch of crazy dogs.
A bunch of crazy dogs. And so our philosophy, like we did with Boston, we're going to give them the three. Hell, they made them. They made them. And on makes, misses, it didn't matter. They ran. They were going to run. So, like last week, we talked about Detroit basketball. Don't go to sleep on the East. Don't look at their record. Don't look at the record. Look at the game. So I'm basing it off an eye test. I know what the Lakers are capable of doing. Part of that is possibly fool's gold because there was a honeymoon period and people were adjusting to us. Once they get the tape, they know how to break the code. What they're doing now is playing LeBron one on one. Why? Because LeBron is not getting around anybody. But they're putting 2 and 3 on Luka. Luka got to give up the ball, give up the rock. And so we talked about it. If you give up the rock, give it to LeBron, let him either make the pass or make the play, or give it to Reeves, make the pass, make the play. But the other teams said, LeBron, you are old, and you're going to have to beat us off the dribble. So Von Carroll last night, Pablo said, played him straight up 1-on-1. Wow. Pablo is as big as he is.
Wow.
Mostly, LeBron is 260 and is going to either bully you, go around you, or over you. Couldn't move Boncaro last night. Couldn't move him. Yeah, he made a couple of nice shots, got 20-something points, but he had to work, dog. He had to work. So the code is broken. Now JJ has to get back into the lab, okay, and figure it out. What we need to know and love about JJ is he doesn't mind putting the work in. So don't go to sleep. I started this tirade, this rant, talking about don't take the Bulls and Jazz out your mouth. Take them out your mouth. Take their names out your mouth.
Look, I just say again, it's one of those things where so long they've played in ineptitude, you're like, okay, who are they? So even when I saw it on highlights, I said, okay, it's Eastern Standard Time. I'm good. I'm going to bed. This should be a win. I figured that first night, a couple nights ago, when LeBron took that L against Orlando, got it. So I said, hey, we'll rebound tonight. Bruh, woke up the next morning, I saw we done got our draws clean. I mean, like, dog. I mean, straight up Midwest twister. I mean, it was nasty. So that caused me to wonder, okay, who are we? But I thank you for clarifying that. By you saying that, I'm hoping the Eastern Conference, the path to the Eastern Conference Finals, while we know it has to go through Cleveland, it should go through Boston. And I hope in these early rounds, there's some battles. Because last week, bro, you talking about Detroit. Last week, as soon as we got off the air, I watched Detroit. I'm like, okay, who's this? That dude, Cade, was like, Yama, game time. I mean, it was like, yo, who is this cat? So I'm a believer. I like East Coast ball. I like Eastern Conference. So, but I for some time, I thought right now, the last couple of years, anyways, particularly this season, Cavs, Celtics,
New York,
and the Bucks. That's kind of it. So to see that those old school Midwest teams, the Indiana Pacers, Detroit Pistons, Chicago Bulls. Yes. Oh, okay, let's go. That makes me feel a little nostalgic. Like I'm gonna see Jordan warm up, Isaiah come out the tunnel, Reggie Miller come out. I mean, what we gonna get into? So you got my attention.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm hyped because man, just less than a month away, it's NBA playoffs already. It's on us, Yeah, I mentioned March Madness, but April will wind down. Where will the Lakers land? I think we won't go lower than 4 or 5, but we can't afford to slip. And Memphis is right there. Rockets are right there. Seeding will matter. Golden State playing tonight in Miami. Jimmy returns to Miami. Golden State's playing hot. Seeding will matter. We need to avoid the play-in. We need to avoid 6, We need to avoid 5. We want 4, 3, or 2. We won't get 1. We want 2, 3, or 4, nothing less. That's what we want as a Laker fan. Uh, but the Western Conference, uh, the Eastern Conference, we have some good basketball left to be played, brother. We really do. Before the seeding has been determined, and those early rounds will matter. Good point, because I don't expect a blowout. I think Cleveland will probably win the first round. They should win the first round, but I think there will be some blood. I think that whoever they face will draw blood. I believe that. And Cleveland just went on a 3-game losing streak. They're not playing their best right now, and you want to go into the playoffs on a roll. So we have time. Cleveland, Boston, all these teams. Speaking of Boston, Tatum turned his ankle last night, and that he was able to walk off, but it's not just the injury; it's when the injury happens, and so that can be significant. But they're in a good place, good position where they could actually rest him for justifiable reasons.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch that again. It's got my attention for the Eastern Conference again, just to start watching both sides. Hey, granted, Eastern, I can watch these games in regular prime time, but to know that I'm not going to be disappointed because last year the Pistons had a record for most games lost. And so
Right.
to see a 180-degree turnaround where they're actually competitor, actually a playoff team, is like, oh, who are these dudes? Like, Cade,
Right.
who are y'all? So when they go in the ineptitude for so long, you stop forgetting that they are rebuilding. And
Yeah.
the only team that I really thought about a lot while they're rebuilding was the Philadelphia 76ers at that time because they talk about trust the
Mm,
process. They
mm,
made it. They made being
mm,
an ineptitude a storyline. We actually paid attention, like, okay, what's trust the process? What does that mean?
yeah.
But again, hearing that Detroit Pistons last year had a losing record streak,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I'm telling you, bro, as soon as we got off the air last week, I saw you hit that. It
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, you got my
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah. Last point I want to make, man. Thursday, uh, the Major League Baseball season officially opens. Talk to me. What say you about the Dodgers, baby? What say you?
Hey, next week this time they coming at the DC. They playing the Nats. I'm getting some tickets for that one. I'm either
Okay.
going by myself, taking my daughters, or taking my girl. I'm going to watch the game, bro. I'm going to watch the world champion Dodgers next week. Look,
Okay.
I may play, I may play hooky from work and catch all 3 games. I'm just saying, man. Listen, Mookie's back in the lineup. Everybody's trying to figure out what's going on with the illness and stomach. He lost 20 pounds. Sound kind of concerning. He said this couldn't keep any food down, but word is he's back in the lineup. Yo, we got this. The last few years, it's been our bullpen that's
Yeah.
been our Achilles heel.
Yeah. Yeah.
To watch what these jokers are gonna do on the mound, like how excited do you get for watching pitching play? I know offensively we got something, but to know we got these Japanese stars coming, bruh, Shohei gonna be back on the mound.
Yeah.
We may need to have us a Dodger baseball insider next week on the show. This is a guest appearance. I'm just saying that.
I like that. I like that idea. As a Dodger fan, West Coast fan, in particular, Dodger fan, there's only one pennant that matters. There's only one. It's not the National League pennant. It's the World Series pennant. I am spoiled. 2020, 2024, a couple of championships, and when you got the best team, the best assembled personnel roster, the best coach, the best ownership group, when you have the best of the best, there's only one acceptable outcome, and anything less is not acceptable. So high expectations, yeah, but they deserve these expectations, and they have built it up for these expectations. So I am going to be livid without a championship. But I have to take pause and realize it's still 162 games. That's just regular season. There are injuries, and it's still hard to win a championship, a World Series, the pinnacle of your sport. It's hard, to win. But I believe we're going to have some turmoil. We're going to have some losing streaks. We're going to have some problems. But on the other side, when it's all said and done, after you go through the storm, go through the season, I still expect to be the last team, last man standing.
I concur. Listen, a couple years ago, we had 111 wins, 5 away from the all-time record. I think we have a chance. This roster is better than that one. We have a chance. Again, injuries are part of the game, but as long as we don't have that significant injury, bruh, we can do some damage to that record. We can do some damage to that record. I've not been this excited for baseball since I actually played baseball. So, I am this close from getting Major League Baseball pass so I can watch Dodger games, man, like grandma used to do. Like, seriously, I am so excited about this team. And yeah, I want that smoke. I want us to be that team, like Dallas Cowboy fan feels, like New York fan feels. I want you to hate us. Hate us because you can't beat us because we're so greater. That's what I want. I mean, I want that smoke. I want to walk down the street to DC with my Dodger blue on and be like, what?
Say something.
Say something. I want the back-to-back, bro. I'm feeling it. I'm so excited. And what we did in Japan last week, it's just the tip of the ice.
I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. You got me hyped already. Your grandmama used to have the radio on. If she couldn't get it on TV, she had the radio on. That's how hyped you just got me. Stop thinking about I'm gonna have the radio on. There's some form of way I'm gonna listen to these games. Love you, man. To our fans out there, I just want to say thank you. We enjoyed it. I hope and pray that we were a distraction. We do know lifing is hard. Just doing whatever you're doing on an everyday basis, the rut, the routine is hard. You took a few minutes out of your day to listen to us. And I hope we had said something that may have sparked your interest. If nothing else, entertain you for just a few minutes. This is my nephew, one I love, and we just chopped it up, and you were invited in to see and be a part of it. Come back next week. We're going to do it again. I'm Dr. Timothy Hoover, and I'm out.
As always, love y'all. Hit us up on our Facebook, X, Instagram. We love chatting with you all. Drop off some sports knowledge as we get ready for this next season of baseball. Love you all. Take to the house is out.
Well done. Great questions, brother. Well done.
Oh, my closing? Y'all got me last week. You catch me twice. Oh, man.
Skeet, skeet, skeet.